Who else has a question? Oh, right, you first. What's your name?
Rosie.
Rosie, and what's your question for Sarah?
What was your favourite doctor that you worked with?
Rosie wants to know what my favourite doctor was I worked with. Let me think about that just for a minute. I think it's the person that might be here with me today. Davison. If I don't say him, I'm in real big trouble this afternoon. No, he's my favourite. I think. Don't tell him I'm telling you this, but I think he's a really fine actor. He's very good. He thinks about things a lot. So. But don't tell him that, because I'll just get a really big head.
Next question. Take it here. Excuse me. What's your name?
Andrea.
Andrea, what's your question for Sarah?
Other than the two doctors you worked with, is there any others that you would choose? If somebody said you could go work with any of them, who would you choose?
That's really interesting. Well, I suppose Christopher Eccleston would be one. From the classic series, Pat Troughton if I could, but I liked his doctor a lot. You see, then, it's very hard because I love Colin. That is really difficult. I could be diplomatic and say them all. Sadly, I don't think Nyssa will be working with any other doctors. I must admit, actually, I think it's a shame with the new series that there isn't more of a backward look to the classic series. Sometimes, I think sometimes they could make the link in just little tiny subtle ways. Because it seems like a whole new show, really. And
there are times when you see bits and you think, oh yes, or you hear something and you think, oh I remember.
Yes, and you think maybe they could just hike that up a little bit. It would be nice to, so that you get the sense of the history of it. That's one of the things I think that was. They tried to do the 50th anniversary celebrations, and it should be. And the special, I think it was a shame with that particularly, because it was, the clue's in the title of it, the 50th anniversary, and it was kind of as if the previous incarnation of Doctor Who was a bit forgotten with that programme. I know there was the board in the background and there was pictures of us all. We were going, oh look, there's a but it was a shame in a way there wasn't more of a reverence to the whole history of Doctor Who being 50 years. So, but yeah, I wouldn't mind working with any of them if they would invite me back to work with them. That would be great.
Who else has a question for Sarah? Oh, young lady here. Your name?
Danielle.
Danielle, what's your question for Sarah?
If you could, would you have stayed for longer, or would you decide to leave when you did?
That's a very good question. I would have stayed longer. That may not have been the right decision, I don't know, but they were right. There were too many people in the TARDIS. There were three companions, and it's just too crowded. Even though it's really big inside, it's just too crowded. It makes it very difficult for stories, because you have to split everybody up, because you can't have everybody all walking around together, because that's a bit boring. So you have to have little subplots, you know, Tegan goes off and gets into trouble, and Nyssa goes off to go and make something, and Patrick just goes around being grumpy or whatever. And it's just too complicated in this small amount of time that the programme lasts on the television. It gets a bit difficult for writers. So I think they're right, and I think Doctor Who does work best when there is a doctor and a companion, just because you can develop the relationships and everything. So I would have stayed, yes.
Right.
But they didn't want to keep me. So.
What's your opinion on the idea of a female doctor?
Oh, female doctor. Oh, good questions today. You've got me thinking. Do you know what? I'm sitting right on the fence on that one. Sometimes I think, yes, it would be really good, and other times I think, I don't know, would it be Doctor Who? I'm not sure if it just wouldn't change. Hands up. Okay, so doing a little straw poll here. Hands up, who would be in favour of a female, or thinks there should be a female doctor? Oh, look at that. I think that, yeah, that says it.
And it's interesting, the majority of the people that said yes were men.
Oh, they ought to get a Maury poll on that, shouldn't they? Do some sort of, someone could do a university sort of degree on that.
Right. Question.
This is in relation to the last question. Would you audition, if ever they decided to have a female doctor, would you audition for the role of Doctor Who as a female doctor?
That's a really good question. I've never thought about it, because I've never, I've been asked a lot of things over the years. I can't believe I've not been ever asked. I think I probably would, just for a laugh, but I don't think I wouldn't get anywhere. For a start, I couldn't because I'm Nyssa. I can't get my head around that at all. But so I couldn't. But I would, just for a laugh, to see if anybody noticed that it was me that was auditioning for the Doctor. It'd be so funny.
But that has happened before, where...
Has it?
Yeah, Colin Baker.
Oh well, of course, yes, he was in Arc of Infinity.
Yeah.
And then became the Doctor. That's a very good point.
Yes.
Oh.
So it could.
Oh, so I will be auditioning, definitely. Now you've given me an idea.
Any more questions for Sarah? Any more?
No. Oh, look.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Any questions? No? Or Sarah? Oh, Tim?
I'll ask one more question.
Go on.
Yeah. What were your first memories of Doctor Who?
My very first memory.
Your very first memories.
Doctor Who. Let me think. Apart from the audition, my first memories of Doctor
I mean, did you
Who.
see Doctor Who on TV when...
Yes, I mean, I think you'd have to be living under a rock to know the existence of Doctor Who. In fact, after I'd done the programme, before I auditioned for Doctor Who, I went on holiday with my parents somewhere, and I was sitting on the beach, and I was thinking, well, what would I like my agent to ring up when I get home? What would be nice to audition? Because I'd been a child actress, I'd always played like little children. And I thought, and I fancied that at 19 years old I was so grown up, that I would like to play for a nice grown-up part and do something fun. I said, Doctor Who would be fun. That is complete truth. I'm not telling any porcupines. I sat and thought, Doctor Who would be fun. And when I got home, my agent rang and said, you've got an audition for Doctor Who. So be careful what you wish for.
Were you